So we're talking to Ries, a writer, author of the Lean Startup, of course, and a phenomenon in the business world globally, really. So what I would like to ask you on behalf of our listeners is, what's the most common misconception for larger companies about the Lean Startup methodology?
Well, it's called the Lean Startup, and there are two major misconceptions. One is around the word lean, and one is around the word startup, no joke. So there's a lot of people who don't understand that lean comes from lean manufacturing. It's actually a scientific, systematic way of eliminating waste and promoting productivity in modern companies. And Lean Startup is a specific extension, if you will, a second half, a missing half of Lean, which is about, rather than figuring out how to build the product specification efficiently, this is about efficiently figuring out which product to build in the first place. So it doesn't mean cheap, it doesn't mean small, it doesn't mean, skinny, emaciated. It just means working with maximum efficiency towards discovering what the product is. And the second thing is the word startup. People sometimes think, oh, startup, that means Silicon Valley, that means venture-funded companies only. But honestly, the modern company is subject to the same forces of disruption as any tiny startup. And if you want to be successful in the future, what is needed is a continuous innovation factory.
Right.
And that's really what Lean Startup is about. Every modern company must, to survive, have internal startups that are run by real, honest-to-God entrepreneurs,
right,
in order to create the new products that will develop new sources of growth. And so our methodology, we think of it as a management science for the entrepreneurial part of the management portfolio.
But that could take years and years before large corporates, let's say Fortune 500 companies, can actually grab onto that,
yeah.
Do you think?
It's funny. I do some consulting, but I'm not a very good consultant, and here's why. I go into companies, large and small, and you can imagine, I've met with some of the CEOs of some of the world's biggest companies. They bring me in because they read the book, they want to learn about innovation, and I tell them what they need to do. And, let's be honest, most of the innovation problems start at the top. So I often come in and I say, listen, if you want to know what the problem is for innovation in your company, look in the mirror.
Yeah.
So I usually get fired right then.
Yeah.
But occasionally a company will be like, okay, I'm willing to change. What do I have to do to guarantee success? Yeah. And I say, listen, W. Edwards Deming, one of the original management gurus, he said, it is not necessary to change. Survival is not mandatory.
Okay.
Right? So I come in and I say, listen, to be honest, I'm neutral. I don't care if your company lives or dies.
True.
In every business I can imagine, right now as we speak, probably in this room of 1,000 entrepreneurs, we have somebody busy working on disrupting that industry and putting you out of business. Either you're going to respond to that by changing the way that you work and adopting this new management science, or you're not, and they're going to disrupt you and replace you because they understand it better than you. From my point of view as a citizen of the world, whether they win or you win, it doesn't make a difference to me.
So, but a fairly large percentage of the CEOs that you talk to actually put this idea into action.
Well, I don't know about on a percentage basis, but...
what would you estimate, 10%?
It's very rare, actually. And I do a lot of speaking. I travel. I've put hundreds of thousands of miles on my frequent flyer account. And, it's the rare CEO who has the humility and the vision necessary to do this.
Okay.
And so if you look at the companies that have really embraced this in an explicit way, companies like GE, companies like Intuit, companies like Toyota, the originators of Lean now, taking this idea back into the factory,
cool.
Those companies have something in common. They are some of the best-run companies in the world.
Okay.
And they recognize that the challenges in new sources of growth and innovation that they face are not happening in spite of the fact that they're well-run. They're actually necessary consequences of executing the last century's management playbook extremely well.
Okay. So, last question. I work at an agency. It's called eFocus. It's one of the larger internet agencies in the Netherlands. And we actually apply the Lean Startup methodology with our clients. And it's hard because, people have to get used to it.
Yeah.
But do you think that change always has to come from within? Or do you also see a specific role for agencies in helping companies change to the Lean Startup way?
Yeah. The change can begin anywhere. Anyone who has the spark of an entrepreneurial vision can help their clients, their boss, their parents, their sibling, anyone can start that revolution going. What matters is that we change the accountability paradigm. So many agencies are trapped in the deliverables business. And in fact, there's a new book out just now launching at South by Southwest called Lean UX, which is all about how we transform requirements into hypotheses.
Right.
And we go to the client and say, instead of paying me to deliver to you a specification document, a dead tree, non-learning document, pay me to help you learn and iterate and adapt to the current market. And if we can change the accountability paradigm, then we can change the process. If you change the process, you can change culture. If you change the culture, you can attract the right people. So it really is that sequence. Accountability, process, culture, people, in that order.
In that order. Okay, great. Thanks, man.